Coming up on Texas Parks and Wildlife.
We hope to learn some unique things about bass behavior, and we hope in the end that increases angler catch rates.
We have people that come and camp here with their families year after year, and this is their special place and where they make their family memories.
The Kemp's, Ridley's, this is a species that was nearing an extinction event.
Texas Parks and Wildlife, a television series for all outdoors.
It's a very large reservoir. It's 185,000 surface acres.
On the Texas-Louisiana border, Toledo Bend, by area, is the largest man-made lake in the South.
Toledo Bend has a storied history as a bass fishery going back to the mid-60s when the lake was impounded.
Today, fisheries biologists comb these vast waters to keep a close eye on a couple of dozen largemouth bass.
Toledo Bend itself raised its own bar back in 2015 and 16. It was the bar for every other bass fishery, so it only had one way to go, and that was down.
Keeping the bass fishing bar high is what this work is all about.
We've started a largemouth bass telemetry study. What initiated this study was what turned out to be pretty tough fishing here the last year or two at Toledo Bend for bass.
Todd Driscoll and his crew are trying to increase our understanding of bass behavior to improve fishing success for anglers who flock here.
Bassmaster magazine had Toledo Bend ranked #1 in the world in terms of a bass fishery in year 2015 and 16.
Boom! There's an 8-pounder.
185,000 acres. We're looking forward to this one all year long.
Toledo Bend's always been a popular bass fishing lake, but you can imagine how that fishing pressure increased with the #1 world ranking 2 years in a row.
While fish numbers dropped, reported catches dropped further, raising some questions.
With all this fishing pressure, we, as well as the anglers, began to wonder, are some of these fish literally avoiding boats? As you increase fishing pressure, they get caught a time or two. Fishing can certainly get tougher, and studies have flat proven that bass learn. Are they literally swimming 3 or 4 miles out in the main lake basin to avoid anglers? Those are the things we're going to address with this study. Exactly half our fish we've caught out of deep water, 15 to 30 feet, and the other half we collected essentially from 5 feet to the bank. Now the shallow fish are easy to collect. Our electric fishing boat, that's what we use to index bass populations. Works very well. We've got 12 of those fish tagged. But those deep fish are a challenge. Traditional fishery gears, we have no way of sampling fish, bass in particular, out in 15 to 30 feet. So it actually gives us fisheries biologists a chance to fish.
So a couple of years of fish study work begin, with a couple of days that don't feel like work at all.
I know my whole staff's enjoyed this project, particularly the fishing aspect of things.
Man, this is, I tell you, I don't know whether he needs to pay me or I need to pay the state coming out here.
People give us grief, fisheries biologists, heck, all you guys do is fish. Well, I was afraid of that. Very, very rarely might we get a chance to do that, but this study is actually one of those where it's about the only effective way to catch those deep fish. This is all live data. Probably a little bass right there. One of the drivers of this project has been the advance in sonar electronics. I drop it to the bottom, you can see my weight. You can see the worm above the weight. You really don't stop and fish until you see the fish. That's how good these electronics are. Could be because all this idling out here with these high-end electronics is so common. What might that do to their behavior? We've got 12 fish that we've collected with a rod and reel in 15 to 35 feet or so. Been blessed to have a volunteer help us with that. A retired friend of mine, George Herr, The 3 or 4 days that we have fished for these fish, he's really helped us with that. You know, he's come over here and scouted around a little bit. You know, we'll keep them in a big live well and gather 4 to 8 fish to do surgeries in batching.
With fish on board, a boat slip becomes an operating room, where each fish is implanted with a radio transmitter.
149205. Loud and clear. I mean, we know these surgeries, the methodology is very sound, but boy, you know, you're dealing with scalpel and cutting around organs. You know, the first few fish, it was pretty unnerving. You make an incision, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch long. The transmitter's inserted into the lower body cavity, below all the organs. We also have to route that 18-inch long antenna out through the side of the fish. Once you get a few surgeries under your belt, hold still. It's just pretty routine at that point. In addition to the implanted radio tag, they also have an external pink Floyd tag coming off the top of their back. That Floyd tag has identification number plus my personal cell phone number. And then it gets an intense salt dip for 30 seconds, which just kind of reinvigorates the fish. It stimulates the slime coat that a fish uses to protect itself against infection. Just an added mechanism to increase the survivability of that fish once we release it. Fish certainly have known home ranges, so we release these fish back to where we originally captured them. There you go, back where we caught you. We come track these fish every 2 weeks with telemetry equipment. And we just got a hit on it right there. We can detect a fish within about a half-mile distance. Fine-tune it with the handheld antenna. We initiated this study to answer those obvious questions like habitat use, movement, what size their home range is, but then how outboard motor noise, trolling motor noise, just the presence of a boat might affect its behavior. It's over there. Okay. Once we're that close, that directionality is so strong that he instantly knows if that fish moves 10 or 15 feet. Still ahead of you? And if we find out that maybe a majority of the time that outboard engine noise spooked those fish, well, that's pretty good information for anglers to know.
It's moving around.
Yeah, no doubt this fish is just on the move here. After today, we've got 24 total fish with transmitters in them. Been a great success so far. We plan on the study continuing for another year to 2, depending on transmitter life. So we please ask that any angler that catches one of these fish, give me a call on my cell phone so we can know when and where you caught it and what you're gonna do with that fish. What we certainly hope most of these fish, since they're study fish, they're released. We have a sister lake, if you will, involved in this study, and that's Lake Fork. Both really popular bass lakes.
There we go.
Having Lake Fork involved just increases sample size and is going to help us better answer those questions.
While the questions are about fish behavior, the reasons for asking may be more about local economies.
Bass fishing here in deep East Texas, I mean, it's king, there's no doubt. And in situations like this where we see a decline in fishing quality, you know, our end product is angler catch.
Pretty fish.
We can have a great population of bass out there, but it's all about the angling experience and the catch factor. This has just been a really fun project. And I think it's going to be real informative for the anglers too. We hope to learn some unique things about bass behavior that no one has ever examined before. And when the study's complete, hopefully we can increase anglers' efficiency and in the end, increase their catch.
Pretty fish.
Lake Corpus Christi State Park is located on the South Texas Plains. It's about 30 miles north of Corpus Christi. To get here, you're going to cross a lot of farm fields and ranch land. And then when you get here, you come upon this island of green space. And it makes it a pretty special place to drive up on.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Easy. Well, mine's the Red Baron because it says the Red Baron.
I don't know, mine's Kylo Ren. It's what it said on the package.
But you made a good one. You said Kylo Ren.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick with that. It's Kylo Ren.
That was so funny.
This is the birding area here at Lake Corpus Christi State Park. We start over here on this log. We have oranges, and then we have peanut butter. A lot of them are probably sitting there waiting for me to finish this. It's really calm up here and quiet. Good morning. This is my favorite part of the day, coming up here in the morning and hearing all the birds, and it's really relaxing. The woodpecker that landed on the suet log, he's a golden-fronted woodpecker. A lot of people come and that's what they want to see, the golden-fronted woodpecker.
This is the Catfish Trail loop, so let's go. It's one of our more natural trails that we can get into the thorn scrub. And it's just a mile looping trail. It winds, so there's a little hill and an overall moderate hike. Golden-fronted woodpecker up top.
Oh, wow.
Has a nice gold crown.
I think the hour-long hike definitely better than just going on it by yourself.
All right, guys, let's just be really silent.
Oh my goodness.
I was hoping to see one of these.
You get some things that are pointed out that you might not even see when you're hiking by yourself.
What we're looking at here is either a black vulture or a juvenile turkey vulture. Adult turkey vultures, if you look on your field guide, have a bright red head. Black vultures, all black head, and they're shorter.
One of the most popular attractions at the park is the 400-foot floating fishing pier. So there's plenty of space for fishermen to spread out.
But I like during the week. Sometimes I'm all by myself out here. Just me and the birds and the fish. Come on up here. Good sized crappie. Usually I actually catch a few more than this. I think I got enough for lunch already.
There you go. I think I've been camping here for 10 times. No, I didn't been camping. Oh yeah, I've been camping here for 3 times.
There's a lot of fish here. That's where I caught these 2 fish.
10 and 2.
I see it. It looks like it's trying to get food. I'm sure it is a swan something. Oh, look, it got food. It's a big bird.
And some of these people have been coming back for generations.
8 hours.
We have people that come and camp here with their families year after year. And this is their special place and where they make their family memories. That's what's special about it to me.
One of the most unique spots in South Texas where you can enjoy freshwater fishing and swimming. Really a all-in-one package here at Lake Corpus Christi State Park.
The Kemp's Ridleys, this is a species that was nearing an extinction event. By 1985, there were maybe 300 or 400 of these things left.
This species almost went extinct within a blink of an eye, and we know it was human activities that caused the decline without question.
They're the smallest of the sea turtles. They're only found in a very small part of the world. It doesn't take a lot of human interaction to probably destroy it.
The Kemp's Ridley's a binational program to recover this endangered species is probably one of the most successful I've ever been participated with. And it's one of the most involved and difficult. I mean, in 1947 or so, there were 120,000 of these turtles that would come ashore and nest, many of them 30 or 40,000 at a time. And this program basically saved that species' life.
For many years, it wasn't known where Kemp's Ridley's nest. It was a mystery. It wasn't until 1960s, Dr. Henry Hildebrand discovered a film that was shot by a Mexican engineer that showed an estimated 40,000 Kemp's Ridley females nesting on this small stretch of beach near the village of Rancho Nuevo in Tamaulipas, Mexico. When biologists began to go to the beach, however, they found that the numbers of turtles nesting had declined tremendously.
Well, you have to understand too, particularly in along the nesting beaches, it's a pretty poor area. They could get $1 an egg, and then the turtle cells could feed the family for a week. It was pretty important. And trying to get people to want to conserve and not consume was a major undertaking. There was a lot of years where not much survived that came on the beach.
The decline was so precipitous in the 1970s, they came up with the concept of forming a secondary nesting colony of Kemp's Ridley turtles at Padre Isle National Seashore, so that if a political or an environmental catastrophe was to occur at that main nesting beach down in Mexico, there'd be this safe area in the U.S. where Kemp's Ridleys could nest and be protected. It started small as a concept in the 1970s where we received eggs, 22,507 eggs from Mexico. We had the first confirmed returnee from this project I saw here in 1996, 10 years after we began our first patrols looking for returns from that project.
Okay, there's the egg cavity with the eggs.
She said there's about 100.
One thing we found out years and years ago, from the years we started stocking or releasing at least 100,000 hatchlings a year, you could start to see the population build. So in the years we were getting up to like 1 million or close, I mean, we know we had some giant impacts then.
What accelerated this recovery of this species more than anything else, all the science that we did, all the volunteers we had have had a positive impact, but this one thing has done more to recover Kemp's Ridley sea turtles than anything else, and that's Viagra. They used to say a turtle egg and a shot of tequila and I'm ready to go. I mean, that was what was reality. And it was to the point where there was a time when they actually backed up 18-wheel tractor trailers into the edge of the dunes and were loading turtle eggs on as fast as they collected them. That's really what almost destroyed, over that period of time, almost destroyed them. And so they literally put out posters with women in lingerie holding a Viagra pill and a turtle egg and saying, "This will do more than this," but it apparently worked, because all of a sudden all of our efforts down in Mexico with our partners there to save eggs, they started bearing fruit.
Today we're here at Padre Island National Seashore. We have a large group of people here today, all excited to come out and support the sea turtles and see the return back into the Gulf. I'll take a picture. Thank you. Even tinier than you are.
So cute.
He is really cute.
They're probably like babies.
They are little babies. He's only a couple hours old.
The public has always been involved to some extent in our releases of Kemp's Ridley hatchlings at Padre Island National Seashore. With the advent of social media, then the messages spread and our attendance at these releases really shot up. So now it's typically hundreds to more than 1,000 people. We hold about 20 public releases each year, sometimes more than that, sometimes a little less. It all depends on the schedule of the turtles.
When I see the baby sea turtles, they're just the culmination of everything that we have done this year. That is our success story, that we were able to protect them from eggs into developing hatchlings. And once they hit the water and go back out into the Gulf of Mexico, it just warms my heart. And you hear a great cheer come up from the audience, and it's a really cool scene to be a part of.
That's it. We're really thrilled because great strides have been made. The numbers nesting here have increased dramatically, but we haven't won the game, so to speak. It's going to take more years of effort to fully recover the species.
This last 40 years has frankly been remarkable. When you think back in 1985, there were literally 300 of these animals possibly left alive. And now, and I think it was 2011, about this time of year, almost 4,000 Kemp released turtles came up on the beach. That was the first time that had happened since 1947. So to go from almost gone to on the road to recovery is remarkable. I don't know of any other species that we've done that for anywhere in this country.
Happy New Year. 2020 began normally enough. Then everything changed.
Coronavirus, COVID-19.
Schools and businesses closed. Lives and livelihoods threatened. My wife and I are very lucky we're able to work from home.
Why?
But like a lot of parents, we struggle with holding down jobs while tag team parenting our young child.
No. No!
And we only have one.
Hello.
Even so, a few weeks in, we were wondering, how do we keep a growing mind stimulated when every day feels the same?
Why?
How do we keep from losing our own minds when the long days become weeks and months?
Mama.
Well, one answer has been to connect with the outdoors as much as possible. This can be as simple as just noticing nature and sharing some curiosity. See the bees?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and a tunnel.
Of course, the best thing about the outdoors is that it is not inside the house.
Here we go.
People are sick, so they can't go there.
Bike rides haven't felt so special or so safe since the 1980s. Walks to the neighborhood park have become daily rituals, always with a learning opportunity along the way. One day this will all be behind us. This strange time will pass, and we will be able to share life all together again. Until then, the natural world is still out there,
Now we're gonna go across here.
giving us some hope for the future and a lifetime of things to learn about.
Let's go this way.